In this video, I'm going to be doing a comparison of the best 2024 residential zero-turn mowers, and these will all be in the $5,000 to $7,000 price range. The brands that we're going to cover in this video are Toro, Scag, Bobcat, John Deere, Gravely, Bad Boy, and Ariens. This is going to be the ultimate comparison video between these. Hope you'll hit that like button, and if you haven't done already, hit that subscribe button for me. We're going to visit a few dealers that I do business with, so let's get started. First place we're going to stop by is Apopka Mower and Equipment Repair in Apopka, Florida. They're a Toro dealer as well as Scag, Bad Boy, and Bobcat, and they also sell used machines like these. They have a huge selection of Scag, Bad Boy, and Bobcat mowers as well as Toro residential and commercial mowers. First up, let's take a look at Scag. And then the $5,000 to $7,000 price range, they offer the Liberty Z. Starting at $5,554, you can get a 36-inch deck and an 18-horsepower V-twin Kawasaki. On the high-end price at $6,852, you can get a 61-inch deck and a 27-horsepower Scag engine. The Scag Liberty Z has a 10-gauge deck. It comes in 5 different sizes: 36, 42, 48, 52, and 61-inch deck sizes. I really do like these mowers. They're very high quality, very well built. I like those metal spindle covers. What I don't like is how you can't get easy access to the top of the deck just by lifting up that foot plate. Now these units do come with spindles that are maintenance free. They're aluminum housings with permanently sealed ball bearings. As we work our way to the back, you'll see it comes with Kenda Super Turf 20 10x10 rear tires. Now another thing that I don't really like about the Liberty Z is the lack of engine protection. The engines available for this Liberty Z lineup depends on which size deck you get, but each one you'll have your choice between a Kawasaki, Kohler, Briggs PXI series, or a Scag engine on the 48-inch decks and up. And on this model, this Briggs engine has that plastic intake which can easily get damaged by backing into a tree branch or something. I just wish that rear guard came up higher to protect that intake better. Now let's talk about the transmissions available on these Liberty Zs. Very important thing to consider, and on these it depends on the deck size. Since this one is a 42-inch deck, it's coming with the Hydro Gear ZT 2800. So this is off the Scag Power Equipment website, and I believe I found an error because they list the Hydro Gear 2800 transmission to be on the 36, 42, and 52, but while shooting this video, the 52-inch deck has the Tough Torque TZ450. So I'm not really sure if the 450 comes on the 48-inch or if that 48-inch deck comes with the 2800, but they do list the Hydro Gear 3100 coming on the 61-inch deck. And I'll prove it to you here in just a second. So this mower right here is the 52-inch deck, and I was just showing how I like all the wiring, and they do a lot. And this one has the Scag 24 horsepower engine on it. So I go down here to look underneath, and it has a Tough Torque transmission, not the Hydro Gear. And this is a 52-inch deck mower. These are serviceable transmissions, and you have a little hole right there where you can fill it up. New hydro fluid, and these do have filters on them that can be replaced. The models with the 36 and 42-inch deck have a 3.5-gallon fuel tank, and the seats don't have armrest, where all the other ones have a 5-gallon tank and the seats do have armrest. And they all have those nice high-quality control arms. One of the things I like most about Scag is their unbeatable warranty compared to other ones. They have a 5-year, 750-hour. That's for non-commercial use. These are residential units, all of them that we're covering in this video. Next up, let's take a look at Bad Boy mowers. The first model we're going to look at is the ZT Avenger. They start off with the base price of $5,169. You only have 2 engine options and 2 deck sizes available. The base price includes the 26 horsepower Kohler Pro 7000 with the 54-inch deck. But if you keep that Kohler engine and go up to the 60-inch deck, you're just going to add $110. If you choose to upgrade to the Kawasaki engine, which is the FR691 23 horsepower, and you go with that 54-inch deck, you're going to add $440 to that base price. If you go with the 60-inch deck, it's going to add $550 to that base price. The Bad Boy ZT Avenger comes with a 7-gauge welded deck. You also get easy access here. You get a 6.5 gallon fuel tank, the Hydro Gear 2800 transmissions allowing you to go 7 miles per hour forward speed. You got tons of other options with these mowers, including optional electric deck lift, as well as a cargo carrier on the rear, also a 2-inch receiver on the front, where you can have a little luggage carrier or even a toolbox like this. Now for a little bit more money, you can upgrade to the Bad Boy ZT Elite. The base price on the ZT Elite is $5,719, and that includes the 25 horsepower Kohler 7000 series engine and a 48-inch deck. If you want to upgrade to the 26 horsepower Kohler and keep the 48-inch deck, it's going to cost you $110 extra. But if you want a different deck size like the 54-inch deck, you'll have to upgrade to the 26 horsepower Kohler, and that's going to cost you $330. And a 60-inch deck is going to cost you an additional $490. Another engine option is the 24 horsepower Kawasaki, and with the 48-inch deck, that's going to run you $710 extra. With the 54-inch deck, $770 extra, and with the 60-inch deck, $930 extra. And finally, if you want a 54-inch deck and you need more horsepower, you can get the Briggs CX127 with 27 horsepower, and that's going to run you $550 extra over that base price. The 60-inch deck with the Briggs will cost you $770 extra. So let's take a real look at the ZT Elite. It's a really nice mower. This one's got the 54-inch deck. It comes with really wide front caster wheels. Very heavy machine, very well built. These ride really well with that rubber, those rubber bushings right there. You got easy access to the top of that deck just by removing that foot plate. No tools needed. It does have plastic spindle covers, and there's really no grip on the deck for stepping, but you can step on these decks. They're really well built. Again, they're 7-gauge decks, and you got plenty of thick reinforcement along those edges. Another thing I really like about these decks is the chute on these. It's like a really thick rubber. It's very flexible, malleable, so it's not going to tear up something if you run into it. These decks also come with aluminum housing, maintenance-free spindles. Very nice control arms, really nice seats. The ZT Avenger does not have armrest, but these do. Really nice armrest. Nice control panel there. There's your height selector dial there. Not a big fan of the selector, the plastic selector, but I have worked on many of these bad boys and I've never seen an issue with those things. Very easy to work on. I love how just everything's so easy, spread out, easy to get to. No complaints at all on these bad boy mowers. Very nicely built in my opinion. There's that Kawasaki engine. Easy to get to. Fuel shutoff valve right there for the fuel. Solenoid easy to get to. Fuel filter easy to get to. And the rear guard here comes up pretty high, just enough protection for that, not to break that intake in case you back into something. And yet, here's another thing where you're really getting a big bang for your buck. You're getting the Hydro Gear 3100 serviceable transmissions. Those are really heavy duty commercial grade hydros. And you're getting some large tires, these 22 by 1110 rear tires. Comes with a 6.5 gallon fuel tank. I'll close this seat down right here and show you these control arms. These control arms are really nice, heavy duty, commercial grade control arms. I really like them. You're not going to have any problems out of these bending. So there's a look at the ZT Elite, and that's pretty much going to do it for the bad boys in this price range. If you were to step up to even higher price range, your next one would be a Maverick, and we'll cover that in a future video. Finally, let's talk about the bad boy warranty on the ZT mowers, the ZT Avenger, and the ZT Elite. You're only getting a 2-year, 200-hour warranty, which I think that's the lowest one out of all the mowers that we're going to be covering. Now let's take a look at Bobcat. The ZT2000, it's an awesome mower. These start out at $54.19, and the prices vary depending on the dealership. And Bobcat makes it simple. You have 3 different deck options: 42-inch, 48-inch, and 52-inch, and they're all 10-gauge decks with 7-gauge spindle supports. While these control arms do look a little skinny, I do like the rubber grip they put on there. It makes it very comfortable. These come with a 3.8 gallon fuel tank, which in my opinion is kind of small. And then again, there's only one engine option for these models. It's the Kawasaki 21.5 horsepower FR651V. And they all come with the Hydro Gear ZT 2800 transmission. Got the Warner PTO clutch. You can get those from PTO Direct, just like many of the other models we're showing today. I really like the way these Bobcats are made. Got the battery right there. You have a storage compartment for your owner's manual and paperwork, and belt guide, belt diagrams right there. Just a really well-built unit in my opinion. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at the deck. You can access the deck, lift up that foot plate, but you have to remove a bolt right there on that right-hand side there. Got lots of reinforcement around the bottom edge of the deck. Now that I got the deck lowered, you will notice those little traction pads there on the deck for you to step on. Lots of reinforcement underneath this deck. I think it's a really well built deck, and I'll show you a larger deck here in just a moment. They do have nice wide front spindles here. Casters I'm going to show you there, 13 by 5/6 tires on there. And here's that bolt I was telling you about if you want to remove that foot plate and get easy access to the top of that deck. And here's a better look at some metal spindle covers. You do have to have some tools to remove those spindle covers, which I don't mind. Some of the, like the Toros, you don't have to have tools to remove them. The rear tires are 20 10 by 10s with a far less aggressive tread pattern like you'll see on the Bad Boy or the Toros. And I do like how that rear engine guard comes up pretty high, enough to protect that intake for that Kawasaki. And the warranty on these Bobcat ZT2000s is 3 years, 500 hours. So there's a look at the Bobcat ZT2000. The next step up would be the 3000, which is out of the price range for this video. Now let's take a look at Toro. While there are some Toro time cutters that would be in the price range that we're talking about in this video, I always recommend getting a Toro Titan. You can start off at the price of $54.99, which is a sale price right now, but normally that unit would be $58.99. Now what you're getting by upgrading to the Titan is a couple of important things. One, you're getting a 50 grade steel 10 gauge deck, 5-gallon fuel tank versus a 3-gallon fuel tank. But most importantly, you're getting a ZT 2800 serviceable transmission that gives you 8.5 miles per hour travel speed. Toro offers many different options. You can get the Titan, just a regular Titan, or you can get one with the MyRide suspension system. They have 3 available deck sizes, 48-inch, 54-inch, and 60-inch. With the 48-inch deck, you can get the Kawasaki 23 horsepower engine. With the 54-inch deck, you can get a 26 horsepower Kohler. With the 60-inch deck, you can get a 26 horsepower Kohler or a 24 horsepower Kawasaki. Titan models come with a 3-year, 300 hour warranty. Now in a moment we'll take a look at the Titan Max and we'll talk about the differences between the Titan Max and the Titan. But first let's take a look at this one. This is model number 75304. You don't have easy access to the deck. It does come with this nice thick floor mat there though, but you want to keep that clean underneath it. I do like these traction pads here, or plates right here. They're never going to wear out, unlike those stickers like used on the Bobcat that's eventually going to wear out. But these decks are really nice, lots of reinforcement. They do have plastic spindle covers, but they're tool-free, removable tool-free. I like these chutes. They're nice and soft, rubbery, not going to tear something up like fence panels if you hit them. Nice control arms here. Nice seat, armrest. Very high quality. Now, unlike those other Toros that I've shown you in the past, I'm going to take a look at how they route the cables here in just a moment, but real quick, notice how high that rear guard comes up and give you nice protection for that engine, for that intake. Wish it came a little bit higher. Easy to change oil filter tube right there. Now the wiring and cables are routed a lot better. Now this one has a weird fuel gauge. You'd have to kind of look down between your seat. Be kind of hard to see. Probably a lot easier when you're sitting on the seat and cutting, but it's very translucent. Shouldn't have a problem seeing how much fuel you have left. But the wiring and cables are run a lot better. There's this plate right here between the tires, so they're not going to get coming close to running into those tires. Now this side, you are going to get some debris right there at that solenoid, so I don't really like that part. But right back here, these cables are protected from that tire, unlike the other ones that I've shown you in the past videos. And here's a look at those serviceable ZT 2800 transmissions. And these come with 22 by 1110 rear tires. Now let's compare the difference between the Titan Max. One, the front casters are going to be the same. They're both 13 inches wide. But there are several differences, subtle differences like the deck lift pedal there. But some of the main differences is on the Titan Max you can only get a 60-inch deck. And you can only get the 26 horsepower Kohler motor. Very important though, you're getting a 4-year 500-hour warranty, a larger fuel tank, a 7-gallon fuel tank. This is model 76601. Also, you see that QR code there on a lot of the zero turns, on these Toro zero turns, you can use that QR code and find parts. Easy, tool-free access to the top of the deck on this one. Still got that nice foot grip there. It's going to last forever. Also, you get a larger seat on this. You get a 23-inch high seat versus a 20-inch seat. Nice metal side plating right here on the gas tank. Again, that's a 7-gallon fuel tank versus a 5-gallon fuel tank. Now, this seems kind of flimsy right here. I didn't like that. A little bit better, heavier control arms. Subtle differences. You still get armrest. You get a roll bar on this one as well. And you also get larger rear tires. You get 23-inch rear tires versus the 22-inch. So the Titan Max is more closer to a commercial grade mower. And I'm going to show you one feature. See how that rear engine cover, that plate comes up much higher than on the regular Titan? That's commercial grade. All this right here. And on this one, you're getting the 3100 hydro gear transmissions. So even heavier transmission. Get that battery right there. I do like that battery being up and exposed like that, easy access to it. The wiring is covered up better. You got the caps on the fuse right there. Fuel shutoff valve. hydro reservoirs there. Just far more closer to a commercial grade unit. No wires or anything coming close to hitting the tires. You can't lift up this seat right here. You can slide it back and forth, but you'd have to unbolt it to lift it up, but there's no reason to lift it up on this one. Nice hose there, giving you plenty of room to miss the frame when it comes time to drain that oil. So it's going to be a really easy oil change. However, keep in mind, this one is just past the $7,000 mark, so technically it really shouldn't even be in this video, but it's only $100 past the mark here, so I figured I'd show it. Very nice unit here. And the other mower that we just showed, that was at the kind of the bottom of the price range. On sale, $5,499, where this one's $7,099. And this side's a lot stiffer. It's not coming loose like that other side. I do like, here's that nice thick chute, big rubber chute. It's going to last forever. Nice deck. Toros are known for high blade tip speeds. So again, just to recap, on the Toro Titan, you're getting a 3-year, 300-hour warranty. On the Titan Max, you get a 4-year, 500-hour warranty. And these two mowers were actually at Ace Hardware. Now we're going to visit another dealership. This is one of my favorites. It's Caskey's Mower in Tavares, Florida. They're an Ariens and Gravely dealer, as well as Steel. Now, Ariens does own Gravely, and it's like comparing a Chevrolet truck to a GMC truck. There's a lot of the same components, subtle differences, cosmetic differences, but there are some important differences that I'm going to show you. So before we do a walk around, let's go over the stats. First, we're going to take a look at the Gravely options, and in our price range of $5,000 to $7,000, we're going to be able to get a ZT XL, and all of them are going to have Kawasaki engines. This one has an 11 gauge 42-inch deck. Cost is $5,399, and it comes with a 21.5 horsepower Kawasaki. Transmission is the Hydro Gear 2800. Fuel tank is 3.5 gallons, 7 miles per hour forward speed. On the 52-inch deck, you're getting a 23 horsepower Kawasaki. Everything else is the same. 2800 Hydro Gear transmission, 3.5 gallon fuel tank. Everything's basically the same. So for another $200, you're basically getting a 23 horsepower engine and a larger deck. For $57.99, you get a 60-inch deck and a 24 horsepower Kawasaki. Everything else is the same. For $6,749, we can get into the ZT HD series, which gives you a 7-gauge deck. This model has a 44-inch wide deck, and you get a 21.5 horsepower Kawasaki. But most importantly, you're getting the Hydro Gear 3100 transmission, which lets you go 8 miles per hour in forward speed, and you're getting a 5.1 gallon fuel tank. For $69.49, you're getting a 7-gauge deck, 48 inches wide. You upgrade to a 23 horsepower Kawasaki, and you still get the 3100 series Hydro Gear transmission, 8 miles per hour, 5.1 gallon fuel tank, larger rear tires, and a larger seat. Now the 52-inch deck is just $50 over what we were planning on covering in this video, but it's basically the same as the 48-inch. You still get the 23 horsepower engine. It's just you're getting a larger deck. So now let's look at the Ariens Apex models. At $5,899, you can get a 48-inch deck. It's a 10-gauge deck, 23 horsepower Kawasaki, and just like the Gravely, they're all Kawasaki's now for 2024. The transmission you get is the Hydro Gear 3100, 8 miles per hour, 5.1 gallon fuel tank, 4-year, 500-hour warranty. For the 52-inch deck, it's $100 more, and you're still getting everything else is the same. The 23 horsepower Kawasaki 3100 hydro gear transmission, everything else is the same. To step up to the 60-inch deck, it's only another $100 more, but you're getting a 24 horsepower Kawasaki. Same transmission, the hydro gear 3100, 5.1 gallon fuel tank. Then the 60-inch deck, they have a limited edition, more aggressive tires and basically different colors, but you still get the 24 horsepower Kawasaki and everything is the same. And just for kicks, I wanted to go ahead and throw this one in there. You're not getting a 7-gauge deck like you can with the Gravely. The Zenith 60-inch comes in at $7,999. 10-gauge deck, and you get a 23.5 horsepower Kawasaki, but you still get the 3100 hydro gear transmission, 5.1 gallon fuel tank, but you are getting a 4-year 750-hour warranty and a roll bar. Now that we got all the prices and the specs, the similarities and the differences kind of knocked out of the way, let's take a visual look at some of the subtle differences and similarities between these Gravely's and the Ariens. They're both very well built mowers. But similarities include like this deck lift. Exactly the same in the Ariens as just like this Gravely. But there will be minor cosmetic differences, like this frame right here. It's got that triangle where the Ariens doesn't. Take a look at the caster forks. They're pretty much exactly the same. The deck lift linkages are pretty much the same. They both have metal spindle covers, but they're just slightly different. Just designed a little different. Easy access, tool-free access to the top of that deck. Now these decks use 2 belts on the deck. So you got one coming from the PTO, and then going to the center spindle, then going to the left, and then that center spindle's powering the right. Nice control arms here, very high quality control arms. Exactly the same, except the rubber is just a little different on the Gravely. It doesn't have that nice thick rubber like the Ariens does. This one's got, now this model right here that I'm touching is actually a 2023 model. They didn't have any 2024 Gravely's assembled yet, but you'll see they have the foot grip stickers there on there instead of like the Toro that has those built-in or bolted on metal ones. I like that. But this is really nice, got that metal trim there on the gas tank. They're all using the Kawasaki, and that engine guard's coming up nice and high to keep that intake protected there. Very nice. Gravely's doing the exact same thing. Nice high protection for that engine, but it just looks a little different. Very nice, comfortable seats with wide armrest. And we go over there and take a look at the Gravely's armrest. Again, this is a 2023 model. It just looks a little different. Just subtle cosmetic differences between the two. But overall, like you said, on those 2024 models, you're going to get with the ZT HD, you're going to get a 7-gauge deck instead of a 10-gauge deck on the Gravely. And here's a look at those Hydro Gear ZT 3100 transmissions. So that's going to do it for our look at the Gravely and Ariens mowers. Next up, let's take a look at what John Deere has to offer. All right, guys, last but not least, let's take a look at what John Deere has to offer. And they have 4 different models. Each model has 3 different deck sizes that they offer, but it's going to be, the price point is perfect for this video. The lowest price is $51.99. The highest price is $68.99. So let's break down each model and see what you get. We're going to start with the lowest price and work our way up to the highest price. And at $5,199, we have the Z500E. This is available with a 48-inch deck, 54-inch deck, or a 60-inch deck, and they're all 10-gauge. This unit also comes with a 24 horsepower Briggs & Stratton engine. It's got the standard 18-inch seat, and it does come with armrest. Now, one thing I want to point out is all of the John Deeres that we're going to mention in this, all the 500 series come with roll bars, which is pretty awesome. This unit comes with a tough torque transmission, the TZT7-U, which allows it to go 8 miles per hour in forward travel speed. It comes with a 4.5 gallon fuel tank. The rear tires are 22 by 9.5 by 10. It comes with a 4-year, 300-hour warranty. Next one up from that is at $5,799. We have the Z530M. Again, 48-inch, 54-inch, or 60-inch 10-gauge decks available on this one. However, this one comes with a 24-horsepower Kawasaki engine, a 20-inch seat with Comfort Glide suspension, has the same transmission as the Z515E, the Tough Torque TZT7-U. Same gas tank, 4.5 gallon tank, same tires, 22 by 9.5 by 10s, and also the same warranty, 4-year, 300-hour warranty. Now we're taking it up a notch in quality with the Z530R. This is $6,499. It comes with a 9-gauge deck. Same sizes, except you don't get the 48-inch. You can get it in 54-inch or 60-inch decks. And then also it comes with a 24-horsepower Kawasaki. A much heavier duty tough torque transmission. The TZT7-M allows it to go 9 miles per hour. That's the fastest one that we're covering in this price point. That's incredible. 4.5 gallon fuel tank. It also has a 22.5 seat with armrest. Comfort Glide suspension. These seats are freaking awesome. And the rear tires are bigger at 23 inches by 10.5, 12. And you get a much better warranty. 4 years, 500 hours. You also get a rear hitch and LED lights on this one. Now at the top of the food chain in the 500 series, we have the Z545R coming in at $68.99. This one also has a 9-gauge deck, but you can also get the 48-inch deck width, as well as a 54 and 60-inch. Now this one comes with a 25-horsepower EFI Briggs & Stratton with an electronic throttle control. It also has the heavy-duty Tough Torque TZT7-M, allowing you to go cut at 9 miles per hour. Same tires as the last one. The 20 has 23-inch by 10.5, 12s. Also has the 22.5 seat. Very nice seats with armrest and Comfort Glide suspension. These seats are really, really comfortable and really nice. Also, it's got the 4-year warranty, 4-year, 500-hour warranty. LED lights up on front of the frame as well as on the roll bar. I'll show you that here in just a moment. And it has a rear hitch. So here's a Z545R. It's got the EFI motor. Very nice machine. 9-gauge deck. Easy to access. Spindles there. One thing I don't like about these decks is how it's not flat. It'll let water and stuff kind of get around that spindle. Nice control arms. They're not the heaviest duty control arms. Does have that nice roll bar. We're going to take a look at this control panel. Here's the electronic throttle control system. Jury's still out on this. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm not really digging that too much, to be honest with you. But as I get off of it here, I'm going to show you these nice big wide caster wheels, nice heavy duty front casters, LED lights on the roll bar. The roll bar is much easier to adjust. You could just like pull that out and put it into those different positions. And here's a look at that Briggs & Stratton electronic fuel injection, 25 horsepower. And guys, I'm telling you, these V-twin Briggs & Stratton engines are good engines. I know people like to knock them. The single-cylinder engines, stay away from them. There's a look at that electronic fuel control system. Like I said, the jury's still out on that. I'm anxious to see how well those hold up. Let's take a look at the bottom here. You got those heavy-duty Tough Torque transmissions there. Warner PTO clutch. As I come around on the side here, I'm going to show you this little cubby here on the side. It's got some power points here. Charge up your phone. Got seat belt there. Lift up the seat. I'll show you what's underneath this seat. Got your maintenance service intervals there. Take up this little cover. You got your battery. Now, one thing I don't like about these plastic shroudings and everything, it provides a perfect spot for mice to get in. So just keep that in mind during the fall and winter months while you're in storage, and they like to chew on wires. And real quick, I want to show you guys, give you a better look at the LED lights on the very front. Those look awesome. And again, you got LED lights on that roll bar as well. Now you can lift that foot plate up on that John Deere and get easy access to that deck, but I failed to show you. But on the ones where you can't, no matter what mower you have, to clean that deck off, you don't have to rinse it off with water. Just if you have a leaf blower or air compressor, that's probably the best way to do it. Just take it and blow and clean all that grass and mud and water out of there. And I promise you, your machine will last longer being clean and keep it free of debris. Just make a habit of doing that after every time you cut. And guys, real quick, I just want to thank the dealers like Apopka Mower and Equipment Repair in Apopka, Florida. Also, I'd like to thank Caskey's Mower in Tavares, Florida, and DeLand Motorsports for allowing me to film their equipment. So guys, what do you think? Which one do you like the best? I really like the Scag. I really like that 5-year, 750-hour warranty. I do like the bad boys, but that warranty has me a little, little concerned, even though it does have a 7-gauge deck. They do ride really well. I did like the Ariens and the I really like the Gravely options with the new 2024 models coming out with a 7-gauge deck. The Toros looked really good. I really liked that. I really liked the Titans and that Titan Max. But I was really also impressed with John Deere. I mean, I think, you got this highest speed, you got the LED lights, those really nice seats. The 7-gauge deck is an improvement over that 10-gauge deck. I'm not, like I said, the jury's still out on that electronic throttle control system. I would probably go with the Kawasaki engine, but let me know what you guys think. Also, one thing to consider is, you may not, like a lot of landscapers, a lot of times need like a 36-inch deck to get through into the backyards of some of their customers. And me personally, I really need a little compact mower, so I'm kind of thinking about that Scag Liberty Z 36-inch with a Kawasaki engine. But I'm going to keep looking around. I'm going to make another video. I'm going to do one comparing the Steel and Husqvarna and the Hustler, and maybe some other brands too. So do me a favor, guys, hit the like button, share the video, and if you haven't done it already, hit that subscribe